into it this morning with supercars qualifying not too far away. There is a top 10 shootout before race 16 of the championship. Scott McLaughlin vying to become the first driver in history to claim the elusive Triple Crown after winning here yesterday. It would be an incredible feat. As you can see, to kick off proceedings today, it is improved production. So let's say a very good morning to Chad Nailon in commentary. What do you reckon, Chad? Do you think McLaughlin could claim the Triple Crown this weekend?
Well, Jess, if anyone's going to do it, he is the man. Untouchable form and a clear winner yesterday. We know his qualifying form's amazing and a chance to go all the way through today. And in the improved production, which is what's going to start us off today, you may see a bit of a Triple Crown here as well because no one's been able to get anywhere near Ray Hislop. It's good morning to Andy Jones. The improved production Triple Crown's not often talked about these events, Andy Jones, but I guess that's what Ray Hislop's going for today. No one's got anywhere near him so far.
Yeah, he's got pretty similar form to Scott McLaughlin at the moment, doesn't he? He is absolutely untouchable. Maybe both guys can celebrate together tonight.
They're both driving Fords. That's about the only similarities we've got. That and the fact that they do about 260 k's an hour down the front straight. It's Hislop and Caligari for the third straight time on the front row. Zach Hudson's been really entertaining. It's an all Mazda second row today. Stoopman and Braun, we love that little M3 BMW. Been having a good, you know, just enjoying watching that thing out there, having battles with Mitsubishis and Holdens and all sorts of different cars. There's multiple classes of cars also built into this, including Commodore Cup. That's Bryce Ford from Super 2 to watch out for. His dad's out there as well. And watch out for Rodney Jessup, because that thing's really quick. It's a VE Commodore, and a DNF yesterday means he's going to come off the back of the field. We've also got the under 2 litre cars to watch out for. Lots to enjoy. We've been appreciating the stance on the 65 car this weekend. It's a lot of camber wound into that thing. It's also a very good morning to Kylie King, who's out there enjoying the action.
Good morning, guys. Hey, we've got him on screen. Spare a thought for Zach Hudson and his Mazda RX-7. It was actually towed to the dummy grid in a desperate bid to conserve every drop of fuel because the tank holds 30 litres. His father, Brad, team manager, tells me they might need 32 litres to get to the end of this longer 12-lap race. So they're going to have to be pretty conservative. He's going to have to race smart and perhaps hold out a bit of hope for some yellows.
All right, well, it's already starting on the back foot then. He gets ready to take his position inside row number 2. There's Bryce Ford leading the way in Super 2 and keeping his skill sharp this weekend in car number 24. It's a new car that they've put together, VH Commodore for Commodore Cup. And he's also on the Triple Crown this weekend. No one's been able to get near him in Commodore Cup.
So based on my very, very quick calculations, his current fuel burn is 2.6 litres per lap that he needs to get to the end. But he's actually burning 2.8. So he's got to do a little bit of fuel saving, unfortunately. That car, that RX-7 for you, you absolutely love it, don't you?
I just love the aggressive nature of that camber. It's got some incredible stance on the second row when you see that thing getting around. There it is.
There it is. Almost looks like an elephant has gone and sat its bum on the bonnet and just squashed the front end down, and the 2 front wheels have buckled under load.
Can you imagine the tyre wear on the inside edge of that tyre?
Well, from what we've seen, when he tries to brake over at turn 7, the inside tyre wear is quite high.
Yeah. Watch out for that big VE Commodore on the back row as well. That's got a lot of cars to pass. Probably pass half the field by the time it gets to turn 1. It's a back there, well over 400-metre run to the first corner. Let's get racing on a Sunday at the Valley. An improved production to get us started. We go lights out. Gee, that was a very quick red light. 1 or 2 drivers slow to move, including Tim Playford. Caligari got a great start, but Hislop's got the power to just burn by him down towards turn 1. Playford drops back a few spots. Braun got a ripper start in the M3 BMW. Trying to look out for Jessup. Here he is. He's already passed about 10 cars before turn 1 of the big VE. Go on board with Bryce Ford. He's tucked in behind the XC1 Tirana of Gary McKay. What a cool story that car is. Had it for years and years.
Bryce is so strong on these opening laps. We've seen him in the previous 2 races this weekend, just making up a lot of spots off the back of his Dunlop Super 2 experience. But not only is he a racer and a competitor in Dunlop Super 2, he won the opening round. So he's a handy steerer, and he's showing some good form here. His father, Brad, following not too far behind him on the road there, hoping to hold up, catch up to the back of Bryce.
So watch out for those two there, cars 24 and 26. The battle at the front right now, and for the first time, Caligari's under fire from Zach Hudson. Now, he's not showing too much signs of fuel saving at the moment as he's all over the back of of the big Commodore. Let's see who's got the straight line speed.
Or is he? Because when he's tucked up behind the back of that Commodore like that, that is about the most efficient fuel burn you're going to get. So it might save him that 200 mil of fuel that he needs on this lap, but he's going to have to do it lap after lap.
And by the end of the straight, the Commodore has just about disappeared. That thing is a weapon in a straight line. Further back, there's some good scraps going on. The forwards trying to make their way through. Here's Bryce getting very close to the back of the XC1 Tirana. Here we go. Careful, Bryce. This car means a lot to the guy that's driving it, as we learnt yesterday. Bit of patience here for Bryce. I had a quick chat to him before he rolled onto the dummy grid today. He said that missed shift that we saw yesterday was the only one he's had all weekend. It was just a perfect opportune time for us to ride on board with him.
And in the race car driver's handbook of excuses, that's excuse number 24.
I swear that's the only one I've had.
The only one I've ever done is the one that you caught me doing.
I think that was the case yesterday for Bryce.
Sorry, I shouldn't joke. My apologies, Bryce.
I'm sure you've had a few in your days.
Never. Have you caught any?
Not that I've seen.
Never. How's the straight line handling on that XU1? Pretty impressive amount of straight line speed when we were on board with Bryce Fullwood there.
Probably more than they used to poke out back in the day. They weren't known for their straight line speed, the XU1s. Definitely their nimbleness under brakes around corners, though.
How cool is this Escort here of Wright's? They're such an iconic car, aren't they? They had a really huge cult following back in the day, not only in circuit racing, but also rally. You know, some iconic pictures of Escorts with massive amounts of opposite lock going on, almost with the front wheels pointing at 90 degrees to the front bumper bar. They were really, really cool race car. Still are.
Back on board with Bryce. Jessup's brought into this argument. Here he goes. He's finally got the overlap on the Tirana.
But it'll be short-lived, though.
Yep. That Tirana's seriously quick in a straight line. Driving away from a V8 Commodore with Bryce Fullwood at the wheel.
And this is where it's tricky for Bryce because he can carry more corner speed. He can brake later than McKay up ahead. Right on cue. Thank you, Bryce. Oh, was that another?
Nearly. Got it done.
Did get it done, but it's really tricky when you're in a car and you're making speed like Bryce through the corners, but you can see that McKay's got far more, I guess, horsepower under the bonnet of that car than Bryce does. So let's have a look at the start here.
Pretty even off the front row. It was a really brief red light. Saw that yesterday during the Supercars race as well. It was a really quick flash of the reds and then out.
And normally the standard is that the red light will be on somewhere between 2 and 5 seconds. So it doesn't always go on the 5-second mark, if it makes sense. It has to be a randomish number, but that was very close to 2 seconds, wasn't it? Wasn't for long at all.
So there goes that XC1 off the start line like a rocket. Not the greatest start for Bryce Fullwood. A few cars driving by on the way down towards turn 1. But deep under brakes, he made up a bit more ground. Great first corner down there. Lots of room.
And goes on for such a long time. You feel like you're turning the car forever. And as a race car driver in the car there, you want to get on the throttle as early as you can, but you need to be patient because if you crack the throttle too early, then the car stops turning and tries to fire you off to the driver's right rather than making that second apex. It's a big, long hairpin.
Did you do much racing up here?
Yeah, I did a few rounds, in my time of doing supercars racing. A great circuit, but incredibly tough. You know, hot temperatures, and today's long race will be brutal for these guys. We'll say a very good morning to Kylie King in the pit lane.
Hi guys, talk about a nervous spectator here. I've got Bryce's mum, but also Brad's wife in the Fullwood family. Which camp do you sit? How do you choose in a day like this, Kelly?
Oh, it's very difficult, obviously. You know, we've supported Bryce for such a long time, and I'm really pleased for Brad to be able to have a go at Supercars this year. So it's lovely to see both of them out on track. It's hard. It's really hard. I'm just so pleased that they're both finishing, and there's a bit of banter going on, of course. You know, this morning Brad heard something on the news about something about fathers, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Father's Day." And he goes, "Does that mean you won't let me win today?" And Bryce was like, "Nah, sorry."
And I know I caught up with them earlier. They fueled up nicely. They had egg and bacon sandwiches before they got in their car, so they're all pumped up and fueled to go. But Brad was so happy yesterday because when he finished, he said, "I actually saw Bryce in the distance ahead of me."
Oh yeah, there's a lot of banter going on there between those two. You know, he's just, you know, obviously he's been supporting Bryce for such a long time, and you know, understands the mechanics of driving and all of that. But you know, actually doing it is a different thing. So you know, he was very proud of himself.
We'll let you enjoy the rest of the race.
Thank you very much.
They've put so much effort into Bryce's career to this point, even helping him get over to New Zealand to compete over there where possible as well. And here he is in a real hurry, approaching the back of another battle pack and onto the front straight. Watch for the gear changes as well as we go back to this little battle. Playford and Braun.
And a really lovely family, the Fullwoods as well. They spend a lot of time in the Super 2 paddock, and I catch up with them regularly. They're really, really good people.
We heard her mention the bacon egg rolls that are getting around here. When you walk through the support paddocks, there's a few barbecues going on and a few of the clubs trying to raise a bit of money on the side as well, so you can always pick up a $5 bacon egg roll on your way through the gate. It's got that real cool club vibe about it, this event. Oops, Jessup's off the road at turn 1, and all the spots that he's made up, he's going to lose again, and I think he's got the fuel flap open here as well. On that car, what's happened here?
Let's see if we can dissect this and have a little look. So out really wide, trying to go the long way, was he? Around the outside, Jessup, and just got out onto the dirty stuff. This will show the picture, but a little lock up to start with pretty early on there. Looked like he locked the rears, whether or not he's just plucked second gear a little bit too early. Got a compression lock up in the back of that car because it didn't look like it locked the front tyre first, it was rear tyre. Now this is a replay of Brad Fullwood in the 24 on the inside. It was a good move.
Sweetly done up there at turn 5. Bryce is all the way up to 8th now and closing in on Salmon. So this is a David and Goliath battle, this one. Third gear and patience as we watch Salmon disappear down the front straight. Waiting, looking in the mirrors, knowing that he might be vulnerable at turn 1. On second in the race is around. Caligarian still going around. Desperate to try and get back to the racetrack, just cannot get the purchase out there with the V8 and the way that the hill sort of just works down towards the middle of the gutter in between turn 6. He's lost a bunch of spots. And we'll drop back to at least 6th here.
We've said this a couple of times this weekend that the infield is, I guess, abnormally green for this time of the year up here. So that was an awkward moment for Caligari. Well done, Hudson, to avoid Caligari. So he's actually ended up out there on his own. Just having a little bit of an expression session. I'll get out here, do a bit of donuts.
Bit of circle work in front of the new clubhouse. Not what he was hoping for midway through the race. He's going to have to try and get some spots back. Oh, we like this. There's Bryce lighting it up. What a cool shot that is. Hot in the top end and hot out of the big side exhaust pipes on the 24 VH Commodore.
Flame out is always such a cool thing when you get that fuel overrun from the engine and it makes its way all the way back to the muffler and has that burn with the flame out. I think it looks terrific, and I'll apologise for making a mistake earlier. I thought it was Brad Fullwood, but it was actually Bryce. We just saw his car there. I'll wake up eventually today.
Early start up here today in Darwin as we go to this cool little battle. This is improved production in a nutshell, isn't it? Bit of new versus old. The XU1 is seriously punching above its weight bracket today. What a great little story, Gary McKay. He's had this car for the better part of, what, 40 years? Used to pick his girlfriend up back in high school, got engaged in this car. Yeah, it was an amazing story. He's had it for so long.
Proposed to his current wife as well. And we heard a really good interview yesterday from McKay where there was a conversation based around the fact that they needed curtains for their house. And would the Tirana be put up for sale to pay for those curtains? And with a very frank no was the answer given.
Not the Tirana. Playford and Braun, BMW versus Mazda. This Mazda's very quick in a straight line. Checking out the speed trap. Ray Hislop pulling 256 k's per hour. We have seen that crawl as high as 260 plus this weekend. It is the fastest improved production car in a straight line anywhere in the country. As Braun lets the BMW hang out, something came off that car then, off the left rear. Maybe like the fuel flap or something came flying off it. It was strange.
That was cool to watch, though. The rear of that car just sliding across the road out to the exit of the curb. That was cool to see. These guys are driving them hard, so let's see if you can have a little look here, Chad, and we can work out what's come off that car as it's gone over that
end plate.
curb.
End plate off the rear wing.
There you go. Well spotted.
So I wonder if that's going to affect it. Hard to say. I wouldn't say too much.
I'm going to go with probably not too much.
Yeah.
Given how low that rear wing is on the back of that car, it will be doing something, but not as much as I would have thought.
Looks like he just adjusted the mirror to have a look at it as well. Playing with the mirror going down a straight line, 1.1k front straight here.
Although it does hang out a long way over the rear quarter panel, so possibly could.
Ray Hislop, multiple Australian champion, and we're seeing why today. Had this car for a long time. It's an ex-touring car. It's 1 or 2 generations away from being a full-blown supercar, this thing. It's really, really high-tech for an improved production machine. It rides curbs well, it's got great straight line speed, it stops well, it does everything you need. And this is where it's really strong. When it just pulls gears and hauls down the front straight. We've seen it at Bathurst going down Conrod. It is a fast, fast car. Look at this, split the difference, straight through.
Straight line speed has dropped off a little bit for Hislop over the course of the weekend. That lap, 254 k's down the front straight. We have seen around the 265, 266k mark from Hislop.
Oops. Whoa.
Smith off.
Yeah, geez, lucky to miss that tyre wall at the approach to turn 6. That's a strange spot to get yourself caught. Jessup back in the pits and the bonnet up on that car. What's happened here? Fighting with McKay. He's run it over the curb, almost similar to what Cagliari did. Trying to look at what's coming up. Just misses that tyre wall.
It's a really good example there that we could see Smith's head rotating around. So even though the car was pointed towards the wrong way, as soon as he could look out the side of that car, reason he's moving his head is the more you can shift your eyes, the more your hands will be able to follow where your eyes are looking and try and point the car in that direction. A little bit of luck involved as well to avoid the tyre bundle.
More than a little bit, and there's also that really big ditch down there. I remember that caught Shane Van Gisbergen out once through that part of the track. How's the traffic? Braun sneaks through. It's Picar at the valley. Caligari trying to get his way through. Oh, this could be big. Oh, that was lining up to be an absolute monster. They somehow get away with it. Caught the grass for a second. The grass is slippery this morning. And Smith nearly came a gutter in front of 3 or 4 cars. It involved Caligari. And Stupin was in that battle as well. They all pop out the other side, pointing in the same direction. Here it is again.
We are running a lot earlier this morning, but it's not like it's cold out there, Chad. It's quite warm still, so we can't even say that there's a little bit of moisture on the edge of the curbs because, what is it, 25 degrees, 26 degrees out there. It's not cold.
No.
So, but there does seem to be a bit of a trend happening this morning that as soon as you drop a wheel off the back edge of a curb or even onto a curb, there's a massive grip difference compared to what we've seen over the earlier races this weekend.
Quite the save. Here's Ray Hislop cruising to victory. I wonder if he's also experiencing some fuel issues right now. It's only a 15-minute race. I'm sure he's got more than 15 minutes of fuel in the tank. He's about to coast to the checkered flag with a comfortable 24-second gap. 2 seconds a lap he's been opening up on the field. And it's the Triple Crown for Ray Hislop in improved production. It's gone off already. Take that, Scotty Mack. Improved production, Triple Crown. He's got the Quadruple Crown coming up later today because these guys have got 4 races. And this is second. Zach Hudson, best result of the weekend. He's had to drive his way back up through the pack after being off the road, lap 1, race 1. This little Mazda RX-7 flying this weekend. Here comes Caligari. Drag race with Playford. Whoa, that was tight. Made Andy jump for a moment. And Caligari drives the thing back to 3rd. Gets Playford on the line by a couple of tenths. It's all about this guy in the Newline entry who is just simply too quick for everyone. 24 seconds.
It did look incredibly like Playford was going to make contact with the back of Caligari there as they went across the finish line. So thankfully both guys didn't make contact.
It was enough to make us wince for a moment. That's a fairly sizable gap first to second. Zach Hudson doing a really nice job. He's just 18 years of age and did get that car home, so the fuel concerns, thankfully not a problem in the end. Caligari, a good save to get back to where he was. Playford and Braun had a pretty good battle early on. Playford got the advantage there. Bryce Ford picks up the win in Commodore Cup. Good to see Glenn Holdsworth, father of Lee, out there. And this big, big field of cars. The under 2 litre class again won by Casado, who's been driving that car really nicely this weekend. A number of cars finishing off the lead lap when you got Ray Hislop out there. So the flaggies were busy with the blue flags. Bit of action in that one. Good way to get us going on a Sunday morning.
The curbs were likewise incredibly busy, offering up no grip this morning.
Crazy slippy conditions. And the race to turn 1 was won by Ray Hislop. He then went on to lead on 12 laps. As the field behind him scrapped it out. Some good battles, including this one between Gary McKay and Bryce Forward, Super 2 driver, with his hands full. Whoa, that was tight. Timed that one to perfection.
That was great commitment from Bryce Forward. Always a concern when you fire it up the inside with that amount of speed going on. There was this little moment for Jessup down at turn 1, trying to go the long way, round the outside, on the marbles, lost the rear, spun out onto the grass.
He didn't make it home, so he will again have to pass plenty of cars when they line up for race 4. There goes Bryce up the inside of that cool little Escort, one of a few Escorts out there. Plenty of flame out the side as well. This was a big moment, and a very lucky one. The Commodore with a big tank slapper and then flying to the infield and only just missing the tyre wall. Oh, not much in that one. Thankfully got away with it. This was close. This could have been really big. The 35 getting sideways in front of a few cars. Really good save and good heads-up driving from Caligari to miss him.
There certainly wasn't any opposite lacking out there this morning, was there? Everybody having a crack at it.
Yeah, good fun. Good racing. That's improved production for you. And it's Ray Hislop who's managed to get that thing to position 1 for race 3.